Hi, this is Trepacer, and welcome to my review of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 15. Yes, men. Okay, if you remember how episode 14 ended, Lorelai had came down and bewitched a new bridegroom and took off with him, leaving his bride. So this episode begins with Lorelai and him driving up into to a bar with a bunch of bikers around, and the bewitched man, goes and says he'd be right back. And meanwhile, a biker guy comes up to her and says, "What are you doing with this guy?" And she basically tells him she took him from his bride, and, he basically tells her, "Listen, you can ditch that loser and come with me." And she basically tells him, "Well, I need an army." Yeah, okay, and basically she bewitches him and said, "Your men is my men now." Okay, and then at the same time, you see on this the S.H.I.E.L.D. ship, okay, Sky has awoken. Okay, and she's trying to get out of bed. Of course, Simmons tells her to sit, lay back down, that she's still not well, and she takes even more blood from her. Okay, and then you see her go back and she talks to Fitz, and basically, tells him that she's basically trying to, test the blood for the GH drug that they injected with her, and she needs more information. But she tells him that Scott Coulson has told her not to contact HQ about it, to keep it on the hush hush. Of course, but she's Fitzsimmons doesn't agree with that. Okay, and at the same time, you see Ward comes to visit Sky, and he tells her that thank you for telling us about Mike, who's now deaf-locked. Okay, and basically tells him that, and I guess Ward's pissed at him, saying that he could have saved you. He left you there. Okay, and he said every agent from S.H.I.E.L.D. is now looking for him, of course. And now, at the same time, they find out that there's this energy, the same energy that was in the desert before in the Thor movie. So they feel an Asgardian's coming down, and then they head out to track it. And of course, down comes Lady Sif. Okay, and then she basically tells Coulson, okay, the Thor talks, first, she pulls a sword on him at first, because I guess as far as everybody knows, that they think the Avengers know that Coulson is dead. But of course, he tells her that he got better, and he said, "Okay, Thor will be happy about that. He's consider you a friend." And she basically says she's here to capture Lorelai, and that she bewitches men, and she escaped during the Thor movie, the second movie, when the Dark Elves invaded Asgard. She escaped from her cell, and she was locked up for like 600 years. And they basically tell us how she bewitches men, okay, and that she'll do the same down there. So they head off to try to stop her. Okay, and then before they stop her on the ship, oh yeah, I forgot one other thing. Coulson visits the boy-headed guy that was in the Avengers movie with him, I think, with the glasses. Basically, he's looking for Fury. Coulson's looking for Fury. But of course, the guy said he doesn't know. He said Coulson's a top agent. He's off the grid. He doesn't want to be found. He said when he wants to be found, he'll be found. Okay, so again, that happened earlier. Okay, so they actually trace Lorelai to the bar. Okay, where you see she's bewitched more than where the biker gangs have done a bunch of robberies to give her wealth, and they give her money and stuff, and of course she's still not satisfied. And then of course S.H.I.E.L.D. tracks her and pulls up, and they have these especially extra night guns that get extra juice to it. Fitz put extra juice on them. Okay, they're like double the normal night guns. Okay, and then of course they find out when they pull up, there's cops there, and cops shoot at them. And find out, of course, the cops are bewitched. Okay, then Sif kind of gives them cover by shoving a whole motorhome in front of the cops, and they take out the cops. And of course, Sif goes in and basically beats the crap out of the biker gang that's trying to protect Lorelai. And of course, Ward is there, and of course he goes around the back. And you think after they told him that they may be able to tuck May, but then again, it wouldn't be much of a plot if because that Lorelai's power doesn't work on women. You think because her power works on men that they would take, they wouldn't let Ward go. They would let May go, which would make more sense. But of course, they don't do that. Of course, there wouldn't be much of a plot if they said May and then they captured her right there, then and there. So of course, Lorelai sneaks out the back and bewitches Agent Ward and takes off with him on a bike. And she tells him to take it, she sees that he's a warrior, and take her to some place deserving of her greatness. And he takes her to Vegas. Of course, she's of course loves Vegas, how bewitching it is. Of course, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. again tracks her back down again, and of course, Coulson, before they track her, they go to Sky and say, "Listen, you know," and she wants to help, but she says, "I know you want me to sit down." So no, she said, "Ward's you know, he knows all our tricks, so here, you track him." Gives her a computer laptop, says, "Track him, see if you can track him." But they did, and they do track him to Vegas, so they head out to Vegas, and of course, Ward's not there, and then they figure out, well, think like Ward, and then she says, then of course Agent May figures out, said, "If I was Ward, I wouldn't run. I try to cap," and then they go figure out that they're on the ship, and of course they're on the ship, and they start taking off on the ship with them on it, and of course, unbeknownst to Fitz has got bewitched, and he locks Sif in the containment room, and they open up the airlock on her, so of course she gets sucked out of the plane, and at the same time he locks Sky and Simmons in her medical room. Okay, and then Coulson comes out and he fakes and pretends that he's bewitched, and then they of course come back out and he knocks out Fitz and frees Simmons and Sky, and at the same time Agent May. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a moment between May and Sif where she basically lends her sword, and she basically says how she's good with a sword and stuff, and basically she tells her that about Lorelai's power to bewitch, and that I understand that, you know, that listen, now that Ward is bewitched, you may have to take him down. Basically May says, "Don't worry." She basically says, "Listen, I can take him anyway. Basically, it doesn't matter. You know, I can take him." Okay. So anyway, back to at the same time, like I said, Sif is outside of the plane, you know, hanging on for dear life, and Coulson has knocked out Fitz. Okay, and so Agent Lorelai has whacked the crap out when Agent May confronts Ward and Lorelai. Lorelai smacks the crap out of her. Okay, and then she starts to fight Ward. Of course, they have a nice, good fight. At the same time, Lorelai makes her way down to the cell and, you know, to get the sword, and then her and Lady Sif battle it out in the cell at the same time. And of course, they choose hard words, and she's basically saying how Lorelai, how she's jealous that she bewitched her. I'm thinking Lorelai's talking about Thor. I mean, they don't say his name, but say how she bewitched her beloved and stuff. So, and I think we're thinking that's Thor. Okay. And at the same time, Ward and May are battling out, and then at the same time, when Lady Sif defeats Lorelai and puts the containment thing on her so she can't speak, and then of course in the middle of the fight, Ward when Ward's getting ready to shoot Agent May. Of course the spell is broken, but May decks him anyway. Okay, and they Lady Sif's get ready to take Lorelai back to Asgard, and she thanks them. And then at the end of it, Coulson goes to Sky and basically tells her, "Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay, listen, the same, there was a drug that, this GH drug that I gave you. I was desperate to save your life." And Sky says basically she doesn't care. She says, "We're alive, and you've been okay so far since you've had it." She said, "I don't care. You did what you saved my life. I don't care." Okay, and then he said, "Okay, that's not okay with me." We said, "We're going to track down and find out." Coulson tells her, "We're going to find out what's, where's this stuff coming from and why these two men were willing to lay down their life to protect this drug. Okay, we're going to find out, but we can't tell the team. Okay, it's because it's between you and us." And at the same time, when he's saying that, they show it from another angle. You see a mic, a listening mic, and then it goes all the way back up to the top of the plane, and you see Agent May is listening to that conversation. And then she contacts, I'm assuming it's HQ, and says, "Agent May, Coulson knows. Coulson knows." So obviously she's there watching, I guess she's there watching Coulson. Okay, unbeknownst to him, she's there to watch him. Okay, so now we know she knows about Coulson and everything else that he wouldn't tell them. But she knows because she's been listening in. So I'm assuming, like I said, maybe even Fury planted her there on to keep an eye on Coulson. Okay, of course Coulson doesn't know that. Okay, and that's how it ends. Okay, so overall, it's just a good episode. I like the lady. So Jamie Alexander's great. She would have made a great Thor. I mean, great Thor. She would have made a great Wonder Woman. She's just a total kick-ass chick. She would have made a great Thor. For this episode, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Oh yeah, there was one other thing which made me laugh. Where the guy, the agent that Coulson runs into, asks him, "How was Tahiti?" He goes, "Oh, it sucks. No more magical place." So that was funny. Anyway, I would give this episode a 7.5. Okay, mostly because Jamie Alexander was total kick-ass. Okay, the thing with Ward and Lorelai, that was totally predictable. Okay, but like I said, you got to see Jamie Alexander kick ass in the bar. I love that scene, and then get to see Agent May beat the crap out of Agent Ward, which I always like. That was fun. Okay, and minimal Sky, which is okay, which is good. Okay, but and like I said, I like the reveal at the end that May is actually, she's privy and she's been, I guess, monitoring Coulson for HQ, or probably for Fury. Okay, and now that we know that, so we'll see where that goes. Okay, so anyway, let me know what you think of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 15. Yes, man. Feel free to leave comments down below. And this is trepacer saying so long and take care. One other thing I forgot to mention. Coulson was, when he was talking to Sif, he's kind of hinting around about how any other aliens have come to the planet, and she mentioned a few names, and she even mentioned the Kree. Okay, so what that guy looked like? He looked like a Kree. So who knows? Who knows if they're gonna explore that further? And maybe hopefully they'll bring in Captain Marvel somewhere along the line. But you never know if that's going to be a plot to the movie or stuff, or if the TV show lasts that long. But they dropped the hint of that alien possibly being Kree, so we'll see where that goes. Just wanted to drop that in because I just remembered that. I was already recording the video, so I'll add this to the end. But yeah, she did mention Kree. Okay, when Coulson was hinting around about any blue aliens, and she mentioned a couple of names, and she said the Kree. So we'll see if that leads to Captain Marvel, or that was just throwing that out there for a fanboy thing. But we'll see where it goes. Okay, just wanted to add that in. Okay, bye bye. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention as well, or additional thing. Lorelai said she could see into Ward's heart. She was having a discussion with May, and that May wasn't his love. And I hope to God they're not going with Sky and Ward. That Ward is really in love with Sky. Oh my God! Please don't. I'll be done with the show if they do that. Just please don't go there. Okay? Just enough. That's all I'm gonna say about that.